Hi, everybody. This is Valentina from the Dominican Republic, and you're listening to Dash Radio.
Woo! All right, everybody. This is my wand here at Dash Radio on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Today we have a very special guest, Dominican's very own Valentina.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. Thank you for coming. I wanted to do this in Spanish, pero mi español es basura. Yo hablo muy poquito, pero para ahora no bueno.
I'll help you. I'll be like,
no, one day.
I'll translate.
One day I will work on my Spanish and we will cross paths again. You know, when
100%.
you're charting on Billboard and I'm a bilingual interview host, we'll meet up again. And for todos mis amigos y mis amigas, we will do this in Spanish one day.
Perfect. I love that.
Yes.
100%. Well, we have to do it. Don't forget about it.
I won't because look, I am a big fan of what I heard. So part of my job, Valentina, when I'm doing interviews, is I have to listen to the artist, of course. Yeah. And sometimes it's not always fun. Sometimes I have to listen to artists that I don't necessarily enjoy the music or I don't believe in them as an artist.
Okay.
But with you, so I was listening, of course, Moschino. Yeah. Right? Moschino is great.
Wow.
And I went really far back. I went to Money. I went to Enemigos.
Enemigos was my first single.
And I love the project you had, I think last year.
Sentimiento.
Sentimiento is so beautiful.
Thank you.
The five
so
songs,
much.
you have the Afro version, you have a groovy song, you made a lounge song. Was that by design to like be able to cover every kind of party?
Actually, well, I had this idea of this project, right? I wanted to do this EP and give it like a como intimate vibes and like very live vibes, let's say.
Like
if I was performing
instruments.
live, yeah. So we actually did record with instruments there. Piano, we had guitar, we had a little bit of percussion. I don't know how you say. Okay.
Percussion.
You
said it right.
I'm like, okay. But yes, I wanted to do this because it was all the songs I released the past year and turn them into a whole different genre. To like give people something different, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what happened with Sentimiento. It was an amazing project.
So those were different than the original versions?
All of them, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I only listened to the project because I thought it was the other versions were the same.
No, they're all different. That was what the project was about. We what we did is, for example, I have Ganas, which was my third single. I released it in 2020. It was like my first reggaeton, perreíto, you know? So, for example, Ganas, I turned it into like a sort of an acoustic vibes, but with salsa at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did, por ejemplo, Cereza, which originally is a trap. I turned it into a more like a lounge version, super, you know, slow. Give it more like a balada vibes. So that's what happened with Sentimiento.
I love that. And so you had this vision in your head, or was this like your team's idea, producer's idea?
Actually, my team didn't want me to do it.
They were crazy. Wow.
Yeah, they were like, they were thinking about it, like, are you sure? So it took a long time for them to actually say, yeah, okay, fine, let's do it. Okay. I had the idea for about a year. Okay. And then we started working on it last summer. Yeah, and we released it January this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you have been busy. So you came out, your first single, Enemigos, came out 2019.
Yeah.
I did some simple math. It's 2022. It's in 3 years.
Yeah, it's in 3 years.
In 3 years, you've accomplished so much, and you made such an amazing just body of work that you
so much.
Released. So you work your ass off, huh? Like day
we
in, day out.
You know, I try to all my time invested always in my project, even free time, or I'm at the studio, or always doing something that's gonna help the project. You know.
I like that, and I like that you said we. So this is a team effort, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. How long have you been working with this team that you're working with
We've been
now?
working for 3 years now.
Oh, since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Knock on wood. Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
That's great. I've been working in music professionally for about 5 years now. Okay. Because I started with live music, like back home. I used to work at bars and like restaurants.
Really?
Yeah. And I used to do covers first. I used to sing like Bad Bunny, Karol G, Ozuna. So I spent 2 years doing that, and then 2019 we started the project with my own music.
Okay, and what motivated you to or what was the change where you started making your own music?
I mean, I always wanted to do it. I just never thought it was gonna be like when it was gonna happen, you know? 'Cause I always had the dream, obviously, but I think the point where I said like, okay, I think I have to start doing my music. I had the opportunity to be Sebastián Yatra's opening act at a concert he had in DR. So I think in that point I was like, okay,
you need your music.
I have to like. So I stopped doing live music, which I already was doing it for 2 years, and I think I got to the maximum point what I was gonna get, you know, with live music. So I started with my project.
Amazing, and it's come out beautifully.
Thank you.
I wanted to give you a gift. So Valentina, I give every artist an album, a CD. You remember CDs?
Yeah.
So for you, I was really impressed with how you've channeled the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, but you do it in a very modern way.
In a modern way, yeah.
Yes. So there's a very successful artist we all know of who also does that. Yeah, so I wanted to gift you The Weeknd, Beauty Before the Madness. Because this is where he started. Yes, and I could tell because he samples or he brings back the 70s and the 80s so much, and you do that as well.
Thank you so much. This is amazing. I love it.
Of course.
I love well, actually, one of my songs, Linfo, was inspired. The Weeknd vibes, Dua Lipa vibes.
I could hear it. That literally that song. That's
love it. This is amazing.
That's the love and no fucking odio, right?
Yeah.
I looked it up. Love and not hate.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I looked that up.
Yeah. There you go.
So yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, I have to give you a Weeknd album because you're like a classically trained singer, but you've taken this like super cool approach to bringing the 80s but doing it in now's.
I love that vibe. I love doing that. I love doing like this disco vibes, you know, and R&B vibes. So that's what I'm trying to do with my music, you know, always incorporating like this urban sounds.
Yeah, and you do a great job of encompassing so many different genres.
Thank you.
So have you moved to America or you still live in DR?
I live in DR.
Still?
Yeah, I live
there. And I actually think that's probably good for your music.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you in touch with your roots.
Of course. I mean, and my family's there, so I'm there.
Yeah.
And until I don't have to move,
I
won't do it. Yeah.
You know, and these days you don't have to as fast.
I know.
You know, you can work on Zoom with producers and songwriters. So do you plan on coming to the States eventually, or do you want to live there forever?
I mean, I'll probably have to eventually, you know, probably
Miami.
Like
you don't want to come to California at all.
I mean, I love LA. I don't know if I would move here.
Okay.
And I think it's too far away from me. Like from DR, it's too far away.
Okay.
But probably I'll be doing Miami in a couple of years.
Okay.
But for now, DR.
Okay.
La Playita, Punta Cana.
Yeah. I don't know what you said, but yes.
Yes. Punta Cana, it's like where we have beach. It's beautiful hotels. Like it's like a very touristic point over there at DR.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And do you have family here in the States?
I have family in Florida.
Okay.
And New York.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. So you'll eventually. I like to manifest. You know what that means?
I love manifesting.
Yeah, so we're going to manifest. You're going to be in Miami eventually. But I think it'd actually be really cool if you, kind of like Bad Bunny, he still lives
in Puerto Rico.
Exactly. So I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
For you to live there. So let's talk about some of the artists that inspired you growing up.
Yeah.
Who really inspired you?
Well, I have Latinos and also like this American, what we call Anglo music. I would say... In music in English, Bruno Mars.
Okay.
I love Bruno Mars, Adele, Ed Sheeran.
Did you say Adele?
Adele.
I love the way you said that. Oh my God, that was so beautiful.
I know it's Adele, but Adele.
I almost gave you an Adele album.
What?
Yeah,
I love her too. I love her music.
I thought your music sounded more like
the Weeknd. Yeah, right. I love this. But I would say also I'm a very I love reggaeton, the old school reggaeton, like Daddy Yankee, you know Daddy Yankee, Wisin y Yandel, you know, also
Don Omar,
Tego Calderon. They they've been obviously inspiration in my music too, because I grew up also listening to reggaeton. In the art, the art in Puerto Rico, we have reggaeton 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, I would say that. But my also dream collab, which I always say Rosalia, but also Bruno Mars.
Okay.
I think he would be my number one artist. You know?
Yeah. I like that. So next time we do this, I'm gonna bring you a Bruno Mars album. Now I know.
I love him too.
Now I know. What's your favorite Bruno Mars album? So I know for
Song?
next time. Yeah.
Oh, song, It Will Rain.
Oh,
It
wow.
Will Rain and When I Was Your Man. I would say those are my top two. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the album, it's on Unorthodox Jukebox.
Yeah.
He had It Will Rain, Gorilla.
Yeah.
All these songs.
So
That's an amazing album.
You're a big Bruno Mars fan.
Yeah, I am.
I love that.
I am.
So let's talk about your roots. So you started dropping music in 2019.
Yeah.
You were performing live for like 2 years prior. When did you start to sing? When you were a kid, maybe?
Kid. Yeah.
Like super young?
Super, super young. I was always involved like with about 8, 9 years old. I used to do like hip hop, musical theater, everything that had to do with art and like music. I was always there, So I think it's been a passion, obviously, that I was born with, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
But like taking it professionally, I would say it was high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a moment, something that happened where you said, I can do this?
A huge inspiration was my music teacher at that moment. Okay. He was the one that would put me on the spotlight. He would be like, listen, you have to do it. So every activity we had at school, he would put me to sing. Like Mother's Day, Christmas, whatever. So I think, because I still am very shy. So at that moment, I was like, okay, well, let's do it. So as soon as I finished high school, I started posting my videos online. And then I started right away, like 2 months after my first video, I started singing in restaurants.
Wow. That's amazing to know that your teacher, do you remember his name?
Of course, Luis.
Luis.
Yeah.
Shout out to Luis, because who knows, if you don't have that moment or that experience, you might still be shy and not be comfortable singing. And
probably.
You went straight into live singing.
Yeah, I
singing
did. That
live.
was amazing. It felt really good because, I wasn't expecting it. And I wasn't posting the videos because I wanted to like start singing in restaurants or whatever. It just happened, Mm-hmm. So that felt amazing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, people, you want me at your restaurant? Okay, dale, let's go. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And you've gone from restaurants to opening sets, and soon you're going to be traveling the world, performing all around.
Manifestation. And also working for it. We are working on it,
Absolutely. I can tell you are. Your projects, one thing I really liked is everything's so well produced.
Thank you.
Like, you must have a really good team of producers.
Shout out to Elliot, which is my producer. He started, I've also worked with other Dominican producers, also Colombian, from Panama. But Elliot has been the one that started the project with me,
Okay,
He's been in all of my songs.
Elliot, you're doing incredible. It sounds so well produced,
Thank you.
There's a lot of really talented artists I hear, and immediately I say they're missing good production or missing good engineering,
Yeah.
You have that down,
Thank
which I
you.
think is one of the keys to this. So what's next for you? Moschino now is doing really well.
Yeah, thank you.
The single is really good.
Thank you.
It's very, very alive. All your music has so much like soul.
Like to dance with.
Yeah.
I know.
But do you plan on doing anything in English?
I do. I really want to. If you can see in some of my songs, I've been doing a little bit of Spanglish.
A little
bit,
Spanglish,
So hopefully no, I will. 100%. I really want to. And Moschino, for example, I actually did the Spanglish version that nobody knows about yet, but it's a surprise.
Coming soon?
Probably.
Hopefully.
I guess. But Moschino was my first collab with Colombian songwriters and producers. I wanted to really give this song like a reggaeton colombiano vibes, So it's been a song that I've been working on it like for 2 years now. I started working.
2 years?
Yeah,
working on the
Moschino,
song?
we first started working on Moschino in 2020 in about October, November 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
What took it so long to come out?
I didn't feel like the song was ready. I mean, I wanted to give it this whole different vibe from what the original demo was, like giving it more como feeling, you know, and like trying to really como express what I wanted to, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what happened. So I recorded the whole song right from the start.
From scratch.
Yeah.
You even redid your parts.
We redid. I changed lyrics. So yeah, it took 2 years, but now I think it was the right time.
Yeah.
People were really excited about
the world
it, you know?
is normal again, so you can take the song out.
I think what made me take the decision and finally say, okay, let's release the song was actually the response I had from the people, you know, como que I posted this video on TikTok and I was like, oh, I have this Colombian reggaeton. What do you think about it? So people went crazy about it and they were like, you have to come to Medellin, you have to come to Bogota, la la la, we love. And I was like, okay, let's do it.
Let's
release Moschino, yeah.
Have you went to Colombia yet?
I've never been to Colombia.
Oh,
I will this year.
They are gonna love you in Colombia, because I think now you've respected their culture by creating something with them.
I love Colombian people. I feel like they're so alike to Dominicans. They're party people, and I'm like, wow. Music-wise, I mean, there's tons of this talented singers, producers, songwriters. I love their accent. I love their accent. So yeah, I really want to do this, you know, like mostly for Colombian people, since it was a collaboration with talents from their own. You know?
Yeah, I love that. Now, random question that just popped in my head. So, you know, for us here in America, when we hear Latin music, whether the artist is from, you know, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Dominican, Colombian, it all sounds similar to me, right?
Okay.
When you listen to Latin music, can you tell where the artist is from? Like he's from Puerto Rico or she's from there?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
From like their accent,
I think it's
the
because
words?
of the accent. Yeah, because I can tell. I'm very good with accents though, so I can tell. Like most of them, not all of them though, but most of them I could tell. Like, oh, maybe this one's from Colombia. Wow. This one's from Venezuela. Wow. Yeah.
Is there a difference in like Colombian Latin music versus Puerto Rican Latin music or Dominican music?
There is. You know, reggaeton from Puerto Rico is more like hardcore, let's say. You know, more intense.
Yeah.
And Colombian reggaeton could be more sort of popish, pop reggaeton, you know, that combination. So yeah, they are different.
They're all very different. Okay, because that was like the dumb American in me asking. You know what I mean? Because it all will sound so similar, but you bringing up like wanting to do, you know, Colombian reggaeton. I was like, it's really interesting.
Even urban music from Dominican Republic, it's different from Colombia and from Puerto Rico. We have the dembow, which is even more intense than reggaeton from Puerto Rico. So yeah. You can tell the difference 100%.
Good to know. And do you ever plan on working with U.S. producers and songwriters?
Yeah,
Why though? You're gonna lose that Latin soul
I don't
in it.
think
Keep it.
so. I mean, I think it's part of the person. You know, como que I think working with other producers, but always ¿cómo se dice? Like knowing what I want to tell and like what I want to do with my music, it's fine. It's like,
that's true.
You know, como que todo el mundo, how do you say you adapt to it?
Yeah. And it's still gonna be you.
Exactly.
At the
Always
core.
giving in this vibe, like that's Valentina. Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so I could tell, you know, so far everything I've heard from, like I said, Money and Amigos. How do I pronounce the project again?
Sentimiento.
To Sentimiento. Moschino is very high energy for like the clubs. Do you ever make kind of like love ballads or slower music?
Well, I had this project which is called Antithesis. You're not gonna
Okay, Antithesis.
Antithesis. And it's actually an R&B. It's like a sad R&B.
Oh.
It's amazing. I love it. It was one of my favorite. I always say every song is my favorite,
They're
but
all like
I
your
mean,
children.
I love Antithesis. I mean,
Okay.
it was my first R&B, and the version we did for Sentimiento, it also turned out amazing.
Yeah, so I heard the version on
Sentimiento, yeah.
Okay, so you have made R&B,
Yeah,
like just like soulful.
the original version, it's an R&B.
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta go back and hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Very cool. So you have a very exciting career ahead of you because
Thank
you're
you.
going to be traveling so much.
Hopefully.
Somebody, in the pandemic, we get
Yeah.
calls from there's a company called Nielsen. They
Yeah.
track music in America and what's being listened to and what's not being listened to.
Okay.
They said when coronavirus happened,
Yeah.
every genre of music went down
Yeah.
in how many people listened except Latin music.
Latin music.
And one thing they opened my eyes to was next to music in English, Latin music is the most universal.
Universal. I
Because
would
people
say.
can listen to it throughout Europe. Most people speak Spanish, and Spain especially.
You don't actually have to understand it, and you'll vibe to it.
Yeah, that's
you know?
true. That's
like
true.
Maybe you won't understand the lyrics, but you'll dance
That's
to
true.
it.
There was some of your lyrics I heard, like one of your lyrics, you said like muy tarde or something, and I was
Yeah.
like late. Like I was trying to like plug the words in. I was like, I know that one.
You know that word.
So you write a lot of your music? Or
Yeah, I do, and also in collaboration with other songwriters.
Songwriters.
I've been doing Venezuela songwriters, Dominican, Panama. Yeah.
When you write songs with these people from different continent or countries, do you have to write a little bit differently? Is there like a difference?
You know, in my lyrics, I like to be very Dominican. That's how I call it. So,
What do you mean, like like how so?
Like in my lyrics, you can tell a lot of words and a lot of lines where you can, and when you read it, it's like, oh, that's from Dominican Republic.
Okay,
I like to keep it very local, so that people know that I'm from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Because when they listen to my music, they're like, what? Is she Dominican? La la la. And I'm like, yeah, I am.
So somebody listening from South America would know you're from the Dominican.
If they listen to the lyrics, yes.
Oh, interesting.
If they don't, like if they don't understand the lyrics, probably not.
Okay.
Because of the type of music I do, you know? Yeah.
I'm gonna start paying attention
To the lyrics.
Yes,
There you
to
go.
what's like the Dominican, like in the lyrics.
We have que lo que.
Que lo que?
Que lo que, it's like what's up for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so que lo que, I use a lot of que lo que in my songs.
Why have I heard that? I interviewed a girl named Esti, and I believe she's Dominican.
Okay.
I think she said
Que lo que.
que lo que, because I've heard
there
that.
you go. That's
so
very
that means,
Dominican.
what's up?
Yeah, it means
Okay,
what's up.
okay.
Que lo que.
So I'm going to ask a question about your Spanish. So funny story, my older brother lived
Okay.
in New York.
Okay.
And he would always talk to, I don't know if it was Dominicans or Puerto Ricans, but they'd always be like, Mommy, Papi.
Mommy, yeah.
¿Cómo usted, Mommy, Papi? So I live here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I learned a little bit of Spanish from my brother in New York.
Okay.
I try to say Mommy and Papi here. The Mexican community looked at me like I was crazy.
Like what? Yeah.
Because I'd be like, Hola, Papi, ¿cómo usted? And I remember I used to work with Spanish people. And my coworker said,
That's very Puerto Rican mostly, and then in Dominican Republic we do it a lot. Like, for example, my mom would say, "Mommy, listen, do this or whatever."
Okay.
Mommy, ¿a qué hora tú vas a salir? Which means, Mommy, what time you're going out? Whatever, you know?
Okay, so you guys also say Mommy and
Yeah,
Papi.
we do.
Are there any other like Dominican slang that I should know?
Teteo.
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 What does that mean?
They're looking at me. That means party, hardcore party.
Oh,
Ooh, let's get
teteo.
drunk.
Okay, because we
Teteo.
say puro party.
Yeah.
Out here, the Hispanics will say puro party.
Well, for us, it's teteo. Let's go to el teteo.
I like that.
There you go.
That sounds like the name of like a good album.
You think?
Teteo, coming out August 25th, you know?
There you go.
Teteo. Anything else? Any other Dominican slang?
Teteo, we also have resaca. You know what resaca means?
I gotta roll the R. Resaca.
Resaca is really bad because when you go to a teteo and you drink a lot, you get a resaca.
Hangover.
There you go. Hangover.
I
there
like
you go.
that. So if you teteo too much, you're gonna resaca.
resaca.
You're gonna
There
get
you
a
go.
resaca the next day. Wow. Okay, so the three Dominican
Words
things.
you learned today. Que lo que,
Que lo que, what's up?
teteo,
Teteo, let's party.
Party. Y resaca.
Resaca.
There you go.
Hungover. Que lo que yo? What's up? Teteo.
Y resaca.
Y resaca.
There you
like
go.
that. I like that. Well, thank you for the Dominican lesson. What can we
You're welcome,
expect
anytime.
music from you coming soon? The Spanglish Moschino, or what's your plan for your next?
Right now, well, I'm doing a little bit more of, I'm working on pop.
Oh,
A lot more of pop because I love pop.
Like the
I will be doing more urban
LMFA,
songs too.
Just like the Lovey No Fucking Odio, like that song, right?
So yeah, sort of those vibes. I'm going back over there. But yes, right now I'm working on music, working on other collabs with more producers. Expanding the project. Obviously, trying to give it an identity, and I'm working on that right now.
Okay, so you're trying to complete the album.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is gonna be your first debut, major album, right?
Maybe. We are working on that. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I think from what you told me earlier,
Yeah.
you're not gonna release it or force it until it's right.
That's right. That's
I love
why
that.
it always happened. For example, Linfo.
Mm-hmm.
I think we worked on Linfo for a year
Oh, just
until
that
it was
song.
released. Yeah.
Wow.
Probably less, maybe 9 months.
I
Yeah,
like
but
that.
almost a year.
So you're gonna
Yeah.
take your time.
I always do. I like, being 100% sure of every project. Obviously, sure of loving it, because when it's out there, it's out there. You can't go back.
Absolutely.
So I always try to know every detail, music-wise or vocal-wise or, production-wise, everything.
Yeah, you want it to be 100%.
Yeah,
to the
100%, 100% me.
I love that. Do you have any ideas in your head for the album, like the concept, or you want it to look like, sound like?
No, I do know 100% that when the chance comes to, make an album, I want to be I want it to be very diverse. What I'm doing now, but maybe incorporate maybe Dominican genres, maybe a bachata or a merengue, very Valentina.
So just like your project, Sentimiento, it's gonna be.
Or you can say SMTO.
No,
It's easier.
I want to say it the right way.
Okay, Sentimiento.
Sentimiento.
There you go.
Just like Sentimiento, it's
Yeah.
gonna be across the board.
Yeah.
Latin vibes, Latin
There you go.
club vibes.
There you go.
across
Latin,
the
maybe
board.
an English song, maybe
¿Por qué no?
cola. Well, why not?
Okay, no, Well, thank you so much. It's so refreshing to listen to your music this morning and this week because it was so different, But at the same time, I did feel familiar through the Dua Lipa I've heard, the Rosalia I've heard,
There you go.
Camilo Cabello,
Camila Cabello.
Yeah,
there
I
you
love
go.
the way you said it. Made me
Camila
sound.
Cabello.
I'm so embarrassed. I said Camila Cabello, and you said, what did you say?
Camila Cabello.
So I said Camila Cabello, and
Camila Cabello.
that's wrong versus right. That was great.
Thank
Valentina, thank you so much. Mucho gusto.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, big fan of your music. Anyone who hasn't heard, Moschino's out now. Moschino.
There you go,
Pardon, mi
Moschino.
español es basura. And then I recommend everybody listen. I'm going to try it again.
Sentimiento.
Sentimiento.
There you go.
Everybody go listen to that because I think it's a great idea of who you are as an artist.
Thank you so much. Yes, Sentimiento, Moschino. It's now available, everywhere.
Yes.
You can find me as Valentina Música, also on social media.
So it's
There you
Valentina
go. Música.
Musica.
Yeah.
Like music with the A at the
With
end.
an A,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I
With
got
in
it. Just making
Spanish,
sure.
obviously.
Us Americans are very stupid. We are the stupidest culture in the world. We need everything,
Yeah, Valentina Música.
Okay.
And yeah, Moschino is my latest single release, let's say. Very exciting project, amazing. So if you wanna perrear, there you go.
Yeah. What was the party word again?
Teteo.
If you want to teteo, go listen to Valentina
Moschino.
ahora.
There you
Moschino
go.
right now. Thank you so much for coming here. Dash takes pride in introducing the world to artists they might have not heard. So we did Billie Eilish's first radio interview, Lady Gaga's first radio interview, Cardi B's first radio interview.
She's Dominican too,
I did not know that. We did Post Malone's first interview, and I'm
Wow.
proud to say, I don't know if this is your first, but we have one of your first
One of my
interviews here
first in
Los Angeles.
LA. This is my first time in
First
LA.
interview
There
in LA.
you go.
We did it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Valentina, everybody. This is my one. Valentina, all the way from the DR to the other DR. Dash
There we go.
Radio.
Dash. Thank you.
Wow, DR to DR. All right, everybody. Bye.